QIT Sports, everybody. Jason and Jeremy here with you. Back to the NBA stuff.
Back to the NBA
stuff.
NBA inside stuff.
NBA inside stuff.
You ever get that magazine?
I used to get that magazine.
I did too.
Not a bad magazine. Yeah, there used to be a lot better magazine subscriptions when we were younger. Now everything is.
ESPN used to be free if you just for random reasons for a long time. I loved it.
But it was huge.
It made me subscribe. It was huge. It was
you couldn't miss anything. It was like a newspaper magazine.
The magazine in America.
Yes, it was the only one, and the paper was weird. Now they use it. They tried it for Sports Illustrated. The paper.
Yeah, I know.
This is like The Office type of conversation, like Dunder Mifflin. But the paper was like newspaper. It was different. I kind of liked it, though. Okay. But what's the point of this clip? DeMar DeRozan and DeRussell Westbrook.
DeRussell Westbrook, right. Yeah.
One talent in, one talent out. Unfortunately for the Raptors, DeMar DeRozan, groin injury, what do you say it was? About 1 month.
1 month.
Which isn't...
That's a huge sigh of relief for Toronto.
Yes.
Hell, all of Canada.
That's true. We want more money.
It was a torn tendon, right? In his groin.
It was a torn tendon. When he went down,
surgery would have been a couple months. So that's really good news, especially because I know they're really good. They're 13-3.
Yes.
A team like that needs its best player.
Yes. They need their pure scorer
in the Eastern Conference.
Yes.
DeMar DeRozan, he isn't an A-level superstar, but he's easily the best player on that team. Kyle Lowry is making...
No discredit, and Terrence Ross has been playing well. I think, far and away, I think DeMar DeRozan is far and away the best player in that team.
Don't get me wrong, Kyle Lowry's a great player. He's been doing wonders for me in my fantasy team.
That's true.
But yeah, they need DeRozan. The Raptors aren't solidified enough to lose someone like that for a long period of time, and I think they'll be okay. A month is fine, especially in the Eastern Conference. I haven't checked their schedule yet. I probably should do that. They'll get some easy wins. Like it's the East.
It's the East.
If they can stay 500 in that conference, man, they'll be fine.
Right, they're already, I think, 9 or 10 games above 500. I have 10 games above 500 because you just mentioned that in my math, of course. I have 1 point about DeRozan, and I have another point about the Raptors in general. One, on DeRozan, his mid-range game has significantly improved from last year.
Is improved.
2, on DeRozan, was he's getting to the lane in a stronger fashion than I remembered watching last year, and it just looks like signs of growth for DeMar DeRozan.
It's another example of people playing in the FIBA World Cup this summer, seeing leaps and bounds improvements in their game all over the floor. Defensively, offensively, just in terms of general... What's the word I'm looking
Improvement?
For? Improvement and maturity.
Yes. Maturity's the big one.
Maturity is kind of what I was looking for. Yeah.
Right. And the FIBA World Cup has matured. I mean, we saw DeMarcus Cousins with the
Anthony Davis.
Clay
Thompson.
The list just keeps going. Yeah. But the other point I was going to make about the Raptors, and that's really about Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry and Mike Conley of the Memphis Grizzlies, which we will get to later on in Good Week, Bad Week. But those 2 point guards are so drastically underrated. And they're not the heart and soul of their teams, but they are so necessary to both those teams making any kind of run or finishing with 50 wins this season.
So I would put those 2 guys as the top 2 defensive point guards in the league.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I want to agree with
Conley easily. Lowry, I might be skipping out on somebody in front of him, but Mike Conley is an amazing defender. I haven't been the biggest Conley fan in my life.
He's grown. He's grown on me.
He's grown, and I think the tide has finally turned this year. I really like Mike Conley.
Yeah.
I think the Grizzlies are absolutely for real.
Yes, there's no doubt.
No doubt.
But let's move over to, let's go, shoot, now, do it.
The Raptors have a generally easy schedule, I think.
And what does generally easy look like?
Generally easy looks like they play the Lakers.
Okay.
Then the Kings is a tough game. Jazz, pretty easy. Have to play the Cavs, and they play the Nuggets, you get to play the Pacers, you get to play the Knicks, you get to play the Magic. You see where I'm getting at.
So they have
a lot of winnable games. They have about
Eastern Conference. They have about 3 challenges out of the next 10 games, so they should be winning. If they were to lose the big games, they should be 7-3.
You could argue they'd win all those games with DeRozan. They could obviously lose to the Cavs.
Yes.
But they can still win most of them.
Yes, they can.
And that schedule, I think, is pretty consistent for the next month or so. So
true.
They'll be okay.
So that's an interesting point because that schedule there's a few challenges. I'm curious where minutes get played by Dwayne Casey, their coach, and who steps in to fill the role because their bench isn't that bad, and I can't name too many guys off the top of my head.